Strowman came back on WWE TV on last night's episode of Raw. Choo choo.
Choo choo.
Chug, 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 chug.
It's going to be about half a second to a second of that with no audio because we missed your Braun because I turned the mics off by accident.
What? I didn't even know there was a button for that.
Yeah, I can.
Would we have a button, like a mute button, I guess?
Yes, it's a mute button. For when we play stuff, we can also mute our mics while the thing's playing so that we don't talk over the thing that's playing.
Well.
And I might even be doing that on this very stream.
For the purpose of just getting all the spots in. Braun! I'm Oli Davis. I'm joined by Chopper Pete Quinnell. This is the Monday Night Raw Review Podcast. If you haven't already, please give us a subscribe. Press the thumbs up button. Leave a comment down below if you're watching the on-demand version. And if you're watching live, send in those Ultrachats to WrestleTalk.com/support or read out every single one of them over $5 US. But the best way to support today's stream is the brilliant service. I tried to say brilliant and great at the same time.
The great service.
That's how overcome with appreciation I am for Surfshark VPN. And you're laughing. That sounds like I'm doing an over-the-top, I love this sponsor thing. I do. I genuinely love them. I use them every day. Mm-hmm. But also...
What?
Without Surfshark...
Then the stream would be... What are you throwing to?
Monday Night War!
Well, yeah, but I thought we were talking about this stream that they're sponsoring, not the other series.
Well, that's how great they are. They're sponsoring... They're helping us do so much stuff.
I'm glad we're on the same wavelength here. Flawless segue. Yes, they are sponsoring Monday Night War, but they're also sponsoring this stream as well. And if you click on the link that's at the top of the description, you get 83% off and 3 months for free using Surfshark VPN, which is super duper helpful. All of us use it in the office. It is WrestleTalk's official VPN of choice. And you can get access to all the stuff that you don't normally get. You get access to stuff that's like geo-blocked. So you get, you can get HBO Max in the UK, you can get BBC iPlayer in the US, you can get the good version of the WWE Network and not Peacock.
The old WWE
Exactly,
Network.
The old Stone Cold, the old WWE Network. You can get that if you're in the US, because apparently Peacock is bad. So, the WWE Network is actually better.
I'm going on holiday next week. I'll be in the country of Turkey. Or they've literally renamed Turkey. Have you heard this?
No.
It's called Turkey.
Turkey.
I think I'm pronouncing it right. It's not meant to be like Turkey. It's not one of those. It's more of a oh my god, we've got a populist dictator of a
right.
And they're trying to it's too westernized the name Turkey.
So
people might confuse it with the bird. Right. Anyway,
not the point.
I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna be like, how can I watch my BBC? How can I watch my All 4? Surfshark VPN, that's how.
Exactly.
So please do click through on that link and get yourself a great VPN, and it helps support us. But let's get into the main talking point of this episode. Braun Strowman, as reported, returned on last night's episode and, buried the tag division.
Yeah. So, okay. So this was a really fun idea, I think, for a tag match. Which was a Fatal 4-Way #1 contenders match, because the Usos don't really have challenges right now. So I think a fun way to do that is have the Fatal 4-Way #1 contenders match. That's good. You have 4 really good tag teams in there. New Day, Alpha Academy, Street Profits, Los Lotharios. That sounds like a really fun match. And it was a fun match. It was getting really, really good. Had some really fun, fast-paced stuff. Getting towards the end, where Chad Gable has an ankle lock in, and then suddenly, Braun! He's back, and he comes out, and he kills everyone. Also, he fell over.
Well, yeah, what did he fall over? Because
he did.
When you say kill everyone, the first person he's meant to kill, he gets in there, and he's like, I'm going to do the run around the ring choo-choo train.
He does a lariat to Chad Gable or something in the ring first, and then he does the choo-choo train. Yeah.
But Chad Gable, I think, is the first person he's meant to choo-choo-choose. For some reason, Chad just hops up onto the ring apron and sits there, and Braun slides past him because I guess he was trying to do a spear, or maybe when you pick someone up and run forward and but Chad just moved. Braun did a comedy cartoon slide. Braun stands up, decks the next person. I can't remember who it was, and then just looks behind him like, Should I
I'll
go
just
back
carry
and repeat
on.
this? Choo-choo. No, choo-choo, we're going on.
Choo-choo.
So that was a funny botch.
It's tightest world slide. But again.
Stuff like that, I don't, that's just funny.
It's funny.
Mistakes happen. Strowman coming back and obliterating all the teams that are meant to be the only teams who can go for the tag belts. Because I guess the Viking Raiders...
They beat the New Day. I don't know why the Viking Raiders weren't in this match, because they beat the New Day in the Viking Rules match on SmackDown. So you'd have thought they'd have been first in line over New Day, but...
Whatever. Yeah, you could say, well, they're a SmackDown team. This is on Raw. Well, New Day were there.
So the New Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really get... They wanted more baby faces, is really what they wanted in this match. But logistically speaking, from wins and losses, it shouldn't happen. But whatever, I still think it's fine, because they're the New Day, and they can kind of get away with that.
Totally.
Yeah. But then Braun coming back. The thing is, I think in isolation, if this hadn't happened before, people would have been a bit more accepting of it, I think. It would have been like, big guy comes out, beats up a lot of people. They were tired after a 15-minute match, and it's not that bad. But the fact that Braun has literally done this exact thing before of burying the tag division, and people have gone, ugh, it's the same thing again.
Yeah. Because I think he's done this exact same spot in terms of number one contenders, multi-team match. But then, he wasn't content with just that. It was like a 3-month story arc where the Bar, who it's not like some chump transitional champions.
Yeah.
They were a great tag team act, Cesaro and Sheamus. They got beaten by Braun Strowman and an 8-year-old boy. Again, it's just reinforcing the idea that Braun Strowman is such a monster, he can beat all of these people. Which I love Braun Strowman being a monster. I'm happy he's back. I never wanted him to go to AEW. Some people are just made for sports entertainment WWE. Yeah. And Braun is one of them. And I'm a fan of his, always have been. But this just made me, I didn't like it.
Yeah. It just, I liked the very superficial aspect of Braun's back. Oh, he's doing big things. Cool. In a picture-in-picture bit afterwards, he was doing running power slams and stuff. And I'm like, the silly animal part of my brain is going, huh, cool. But when you think about it, it's really would have preferred some of the tag teams to be able to handle him,
Well, freaking Kofi.
Yeah.
Kofi's a former world champion.
Yeah.
Montez Ford is being groomed to be as such. Had some great matches with Seth Riddle, both of the Seth Riddle. Seth Rollins, the Street Profits.
Yeah.
So I didn't like this. It got over huge with the crowd.
It sure did. And the thing is, I think if I was there, I still probably would have been popping just with them. Because it's Braun's back. Yay, that's cool. He does stuff. Great.
Also, it was slightly foreshadowed a few segments beforehand because The Miz was shown in the car park, which is the most dangerous place on the planet in WWE kayfabe. And there was just an overturned car.
Was that Braun or was that Dexter Lumis? Because it's a very Braun thing to do, but also it has nothing to do with The Miz.
It's an expensive little prop to just do and not really... no one ever said, oh, but Braun must have just been flipping cars backstage.
I think that was supposed to be a Dexter Lumis thing. He's being... Because was it The Miz's car, or was it just a random car that they came across?
I got the impression it was a random car. Otherwise, Miz would have reacted more. And why would they be walking from another car?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Go back and watch that clip, though, because the two people who are meant to deal with it, sort of the extra security, oh, man, they're selling this harder than Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan. They're like, oh, what? I've got to maximize my minutes here.
I also really liked that when Miz and Ciampa were walking by and the interviewer was interviewing, what you know what? It was a dynamic interview because they were walking while they were talking. And I was like, this is nice. That feels a bit more natural. I love that they couldn't see the car until they're about this far away from it. And then Ciampa's like, oh, you seen that? And then the camera pans over. They're standing right next to the car. It's did you not see that before?
Yeah, but I think there's got to be some kind of bad peripheral vision symptom in the company.
It's a serious problem.
Because a lot of people just walk into shot and like, oh my God, where did you come from?
Where did you come from? Yeah.
And frequently referees are really bad for it. They can't see stuff that happens, outside of this thing. They're the ultimate predators, which means they've just got...
And even commentators, stuff's happening around the ring, but if it's not being shot properly on the camera, they just can't see it. Yeah. They've got screen blindness. That's what that is.
How would you have brought back Braun? Because I'm happy he's back. I don't really know what you do with him because he looked great.
Oh, you look great, yeah.
But I do feel like there is a couple of years of bad booking to unwind. And this wasn't an immediately good idea for me to get past that.
Yeah, I personally would have had the Fatal 4-Way tag match as is. I would have had winners, whoever they were, pin Otis or Chad Gable. Chad Gable gets on the mic afterwards and he's like, oh, this is unfair, blah, 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 blah. Braun comes out and just kills Chad Gable.
Well, or like...
That's fine.
This is unfair and... none of you are allowed in the Alpha Academy. Or maybe he does an open invitation.
Yeah, just something.
And Braun comes out.
Braun comes out and just murders him a little bit.
Or you don't even have the match. Because that was one of the annoying parts. It was a 14 minutes, pretty good match. There was this incredible spot that we haven't really talked about. Angel Garza's got his name back, it seems. First name. He does the Andrade moonsault, misses straight into a second moonsault. He did that. So 2 consecutive moonsaults. And Chad caught him in a German suplex.
Oh, that was so good.
So maybe you don't have the match because it's just like, oh, okay, I'm a bit blue-balled now. But there's the sort of everyone's cutting promos before. They're all in the ring and Braun comes down, beats up Chad, beats up the next heels. New Day are like, oh, you got beaten up. He beats them up as well and the Street Profits. And then at least
would that bury them more?
Yeah, you're probably right. Just have him rip open a cage. You had a cage in the main event.
Yeah.
Have him rip open the cage door, beat up Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, you could do that. Easy enough. There's material to work with there, I think. I think if all you need to do is get him to come back and look like a big, beefy dude, but without burying too many people. And that's easy enough to do. Because you can pick on 1 or 2 people. If he did just Alpha Academy... and he beat up Chad Gable, and then Otis got in, and he had a stare down with Otis, and everyone's like, oh, 2 big lads, and then Braun just killed him immediately. That'd be cool. That'd be a nice moment. Picks up Otis, does a big power slam to him. People go, wow, that's great. That works.
You can't do this because he's not really... the time's passed for James Ellsworth, I think. But imagine if he wasn't ostracized from the wrestling community and you have James Ellsworth come out first. He's like, I'm getting the first chance, so this is my one and only shot to get back in the WWE. And then you just like, who's going to be my opponent? And then Braun comes out, destroys him. And then you can just like snip out the last 3 years of Braun's WWE run and pretend we're back at that fun stage.
Do that, but with Reggie. Reggie comes out and it's just like, you know what? I haven't had anything since the 24/7 title. I want to be taken seriously in WWE. I'm going to enter into this tag match by myself. I don't need a tag partner. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
I say remove it from the tag. This is a separate segment.
Separate segment then, sure. But Reggie comes out and is like, I want to be taken seriously. And then Braun comes out and murders him.
Yeah,
I think that's fun.
That is fun.
Yeah.
You are also put him in the 24/7 division, kind of, even though that's pretty much disappeared.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think if Reggie is saying, I'm done with the 24/7 title stuff, I just want to be taken seriously, I'm ready to fight, and then Braun kills him, I think that's fun.
Tozawa comes out, Truth comes out, and they're like, what have you done? Braun!
Yeah.
And that's how he speaks.
He's
like a Pokemon.
I can only say his name.
Braun!
Yeah, and then later on, he's in a backstage segment, and he said he's going to be on SmackDown. So, cool, I guess. You know what? I would like to see Strowman versus Gunther.
Yep.
And I'd like to see Gunther win.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Maybe you build to that. It's difficult. You've got so much rehab work to do. You don't want any of these guys losing, but you also want to do the big matches.
Exactly.
I don't think Braun is the caliber of wrestler where he can get over and defeat. I think you need to have him squash a bunch of people for a while. But I agree. I think that's a great idea to have a match.
Yeah.
Let's see what everybody thinks in the Ultrachats.
You good?
It's somewhere.
It's there.
Here.
Yep, there you go. You got
had
it.
them. You could have.
Yeah, I know,
started.
but you're the one that reads them.
Laxin Narasimhan B says, Braun, I'm back. Roar! Triple H and Co. Yeah, now we control your narrative. Still, seriously, let's see how things go this time around.
Yeah. Have you seen Control Your Narrative put out a statement about Strowman?
Saw that they said they wish him well. What was it?
Yeah,
was it more snarky?
It was just a lot of EC3 being EC3. Just a lot of, it's all about telling your story, and his story is that it's unfinished business and controlling a narrative. And I'm like, you've really got to stop this at some point, mate.
What? Yeah, because it's funny, isn't it? Because I couldn't tell you what EC3's story is, apart from him. It's like a very meta thing. He is trying to control his story. That to me is his story.
That's his story, yeah.
Riot DR. Hey yo. My brother loves when a large destructive force decimates a large number of people. A way of saying he was happy to see Braun Strowman. Say what you will, he is much more exciting than Amos. In my opinion, at least we got most of an awesome tag match.
Yeah. I will agree. He's much more excited than Omos, and I get the idea of seeing Braun beat up a load of people. I think that's probably why this spot was done, because that is an exciting thing to see big man beat up lots of people. But I think it should be left to complete jobbers or security guards, not tag team wrestlers.
I agree. Especially tag team wrestlers who are the only contenders for the tag belts.
Yeah.
But I agree. That's a good point. Amos, Commander Aziz, Great Khali. WWE have tried to do loads of big man monster characters, and they've all sucked. Braun is the only good one. He might be one of the best in, like, is it? I'm trying to take out Kane and Undertaker from this, but since then I can't think of anyone I've enjoyed more in this role.
Not really.
Of a big monster character.
No. Man, that 2017 run when he was white hot, that was something.
Eddie Knoll, I want to say thanks for all you do. As someone who has suffered from PTSD, I'm really thankful for all you guys do. Thank you. As for my question, do you think Braun interrupting the tag match, do you think they could be setting up Bray's return?
No, I don't think they're linked. This seemed very much not Wyatt family Braun. This was, I'm going to run around a ring and go choo-choo Braun, which I think is a very different character. I think if they were going to set up a Bray return, you would have had a bit more of an overt tease of it.
I also don't think wherever he goes, he's coming back as the Wyatt family version. And I think that would be a mistake.
Yeah.
Finn Brennan. We met him at the weekend at the watch party.
The Vindicator.
What's the crack, gentlemen? I don't know if the watch party on Saturday is old news now, but it was wonderful meeting most of the WrestleTalk gang. You were all great to talk to, and it was great going to London again, despite the horrific prices.
They sure are horrific prices, but it was lovely to see you.
Right. Before we get into the full play-by-play version of the show, do you want to talk about Surfshark and how great they are?
They are, in fact, great. They are sponsoring this episode of the WrestleTalk Podcast. Thank you so much, Surfshark. Make sure to click the link at the top of the description because you can get 83% off and 3 months for free when you click that link, which helps support Surfshark, obviously, but also helps support us here at WrestleTalk. So you should really go check it out, too.
And how do they help support us? Obviously, we've got the sponsor on the stream here, but is there any other ways that they're a great sponsor?
Well, you know what? They've been really generous because not only have they sponsored this episode of the WrestleTalk Podcast, but they've also sponsored the returning Monday Night War series on partsFUNknown. Now, that is launching. We had the announcement video go up yesterday on partsFUNknown, in case you missed it. And we've got the official draft day episode going up next Monday on the 12th. Less than a week to go until Season 2 is here. And if you missed Season 1 and you're wondering, what's the big hype? What's the big deal around Monday Night War? Well, check this out. Let me see if I can transition this. Here we go.
How are you feeling?
I'm itching. I'm itching to book my show.
I talked about bringing in Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I have brought in Brute Force!
Your big stars, they fall to the might of Tucker. Edge gets the win
because of the run-in.
Ooh! No! And Tucker?
Hold on. Pete, I couldn't afford my show.
That didn't start a rivalry!
Why won't the rivalries row?
What's going on? It's coming back on Monday, gang. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Go over and subscribe to partsFUNknown. Enable notifications to always on so you know when it goes live first. But yeah, it's one of those series that sort of exceeded all expectations in terms of how much people loved it. But it's also one of those things that we couldn't really make without a sponsor. The first series was sponsored by 2K. So yeah, thank you so much for Surfshark, who came in and Incogni as sort of a joint effort to help us make this series. So yeah, please show your gratitude to Surfshark and click the link and sign up there today. Right, so this episode of Raw, I would say the least best of the Triple H era so far.
I'd say so, and the thing is, this isn't necessarily a bad show. This was a fine show, but based on the excitement of the Triple H era shows, this is less than they've been. But this is still better than it used to be for Triple H.
So much better.
So much better.
Like multiple different shows.
Yeah.
But it has made a new benchmark.
Exactly.
So and the pay-per-view was so good at the weekend.
It was.
Apart from the karaoke.
See, the thing is, I loved Saturday's show, but I don't know whether that was because we had the watch party. In the same way that I loved Survivor Series from 2021 or 2020, whenever it was.
The egg.
But I don't know whether that was because we were there having a good time with the live reactions or because it was, because it was a terrible show, objectively speaking. Well, but I had a great time.
By all accounts, people loved it even when they weren't with us.
Well, that's good.
Dave Meltzer said that Sheamus versus Gunther is the best match in recent WWE history.
I don't disagree. I loved it. I thought it was a flawless match.
But the follow-up of that show, the main story that carried its way through into Raw, probably actually the only story? Because Riddle Rollins wasn't featured on this at all, aside from clips of stuff that happened backstage after the event. What were the other Raw matches?
There was Damage Control.
Who were featured here.
It furthered a bit. It wasn't like a huge here's the next step for him, but it was like, okay, it's sort of there. Yeah.
So the big angle and follow-up was Dominic Mysterio's heel turn on both Edge and Rey Mysterio. And Edge opened the show, cut a really good promo, I thought, talking about how Rey and him friends for ages. He's known Dominic since Dominic was a kid, as most people who work there for a long time, I imagine, have. But you're not a kid anymore, Dominic. Come down here and essentially face the consequences of your actions.
I'm going to beat you up.
I'm going to beat you up, and I bet Dom would love that, wouldn't you?
He would.
Kinky boy. You've been a naughty boy.
He only likes it when it's Rhea Ripley.
I don't know. Is that how it is?
That's the dynamic I'm getting.
Well, good for him, because Rey came out to sort of defend Dominic against Edge and said, no, don't beat up my son.
I really like that, in that Rey's not just like, oh yeah, my son screwed up, let's go get him. I really like that he's still holding on to, no, but he's my son. Like, I can't go against him. I really like that.
It adds an extra layer of conflict, even between the baby faces.
Exactly.
And Rey later on says, I will never fight my son.
Which means he will.
Oh, yeah. And Dominic's going to have to do some horrid things to make that happen, to make Rey break.
It's going to be great.
But Ripley comes out and says that Dominic, she's made him a man.
Oh, yeah.
And Dominic came out with a shirt on.
Had his hair slicked back and everything.
Hair slicked back. I don't know. Andy always moans about Dominic's haircut. So I don't know if he's okay with this one.
Andy complains about a lot of things.
Yeah, he does. Weird things that no one else cares about.
It was fine. I like this. You know what? Even if it doesn't look fantastic, when someone changes their appearance to fit a character change, thumbs up. You tried.
Yeah.
You know? Even if it doesn't really work, doesn't matter. You tried.
I don't really mind, yeah.
No.
Brian Alvarez had a really good idea. Give him a mask.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really cool thing.
I think he should have a mask after he beats Rey Mysterio.
Ooh.
He takes the mantle from him by force. Rather than Rey gifting it, Dominic takes it from him.
And he dyes it black.
Yeah. And maybe be a cool mask.
Finn Balor and Damian Priest then jumped Edge from behind, really brutally laid him out by stomping on his leg, Pillmanizing his leg in a chair.
Yeah. Hit a coup de grace onto a chair that was wrapped around his leg.
And Dominic stopped Rey from saving Edge. But Edge is going to have a match with Dominic next week. So when they did this, I thought, Edge is written off for ages. No, it's 7 days.
They said it was like, oh, will he fight Edge next week? We'll have to find out. So it's still supposedly like up in the air. And I think it's probably going to be a case of Edge is not medically cleared, but he wants to fight anyway. And he's going to come in. He's going to have a massive weakness that's going to be taken advantage of.
Yeah,
I reckon.
And Dominic beats him in 5 minutes. Huge win for Dominic.
Yep.
Edge doesn't lose a thing.
Yep.
Hopefully that's the way they go.
That'd be great.
The thing that bugs me a bit here, though. So the Judgment Day are all behaving like, haha, this was part of our master plan.
Yeah.
I saw the potential in Dominic, and now he is, a man, and he's our man. Why didn't you do this at the pay-per-view and
Why did
win?
you win?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is my one gripe with Judgment Day. I think Triple H has done a very good job of rehabbing Judgment Day to make them look cool again, which is nice because they weren't cool for a long time. But they do need to win more, especially on bigger matches. Like Damian Priest won on this show, but like they need to win like big pay-per-view matches and stuff. And I feel like at the minute it is they keep losing and then people keep joining them, which is a weird dynamic. But I think if they'd have done, I don't know. It's weird because they just beat up Dom a lot, and then he's like, I think if they'd have played up the story more of Dom having to like give in to be like, all right, fine, I will join you. Please stop beating me up. Then I think that would have worked a little bit better. But in this case, it's like, oh, they beat me up lots, and now I'm with them because they're cool. But for why? It's not really fully explained. I don't know.
She's called Rhea Ripley.
She is called Rhea Ripley.
Then we got the Miz Ciampa bit with the flipped over car. Then we got the tag match with the Braun return. Then right after the Braun Strowman return, we got his real life girlfriend, Raquel Rodriguez, defending. Well, I don't think they were just having a normal tag match, weren't they?
Yes.
Her and Aliyah versus Nikki, ASH, and Doudrop.
Raquel is strong.
Raquel is strong. She has a back.
She has a back.
And they won.
Have back, will fight is her character. She did the big powerbomb to Doudrop. It's a nice spot that everyone went, whoa, for. And that was the point of the match.
I don't understand this. Damage Control, which is their name now, we're watching them from backstage, setting up the idea that we're going to get those tag titles. Ugh. This is like one of the... I'm still very annoyed about this.
Yeah.
It's 8 days ago.
Yeah.
Feels a lot longer ago. Doudrop and Nikki ASH kind of argued afterwards. Wasn't really focused on, but...
In the same way for last week's segment when they were arguing in the background of a promo. It's good.
Ray got interviewed about the accepting the Damian Priest thing later. Then we got a long segment, but like all Kevin Owens segments, I do not mind. I could be an hour long for me. I don't... It's the best stuff on the show usually.
Yeah.
Austin Theory comes down. He is selling his jaw in a way where it makes him forget the words of things.
I feel like he only did this once, though.
He did it like 3 times.
Because he said Crown Jewel instead of Clash at the Castle.
Yeah.
What were the other ones?
I can't remember, but he definitely did it twice more.
Weird that.
Because that's a concussion.
Because the Crown Jewel thing, he was like aware of, because he said, Crown Jewel was great. Just kidding, I mean Clash at the Castle. Like he botched the line and tried to save it. But weird. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a minor point. I really like this segment, though. Like you said, the Kevin Owens stuff is absolutely fantastic. Austin Theory being arrogant, saying he's still going to cash in. He's still the youngest Mr. Money in the Bank, blah, 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 blah. Kevin Owens just comes out and he says, what's wrong with your jaw? Oh, yeah, you got knocked out. And then the crowd just go, you got knocked out. And he says, oh, you got KO'd. I was like, that's a good line, that. It's just so much fire between them.
Yeah.
And I felt like Austin Theory really like held his own against KO here as well. Like his responses to KO's like takedowns were really, really good. And him just being like, oh, I've done something that you'll never do. Win Money in the Bank. I was like, that's a fair point right there. Yeah. Good shout.
When was the last time you won a title, Kevin Owens?
Yeah.
You're jealous of me. And I'm like, you're an arrogant prick, Austin Theory. But I can't argue with what you're saying.
Yeah, he used to be US champ this year. And now he's Mr. Money in the Bank. Like, yeah, he's got a point, you know. But then Kevin Owens saying, I really like that they reference continuity. Continuity matters in WWE again. Kevin Owens saying that, like, yeah, I haven't won a title in a long time, but 18 months ago, I had Roman Reigns beat, and if it wasn't for Jey Uso and Paul Heyman, I would have been Universal Champion. I would have stopped Roman Reigns' historic title run 6 months in. But because of them, I don't have it right now. And I'm like, also a good point. This is just great back and forth stuff with both people having good arguments. And I love that Kevin Owens is playing. I'm just being like, you know what happens next? I'm sure a referee's going to come out here and slide in the ring. Yeah. Oh, look, there he is. And what happens next? Oh, one of us says, oh, it's time. There's enough talk. It's time to fight. Oh, that's me. I'm going to say that. And then said the line. And I was like, it's just great stuff from Kevin Owens. They're both very, very good promos, I think. And this was good stuff.
It was a very similar setup to the match that he did last week against Jey Uso, where it was like, I think this is the part where one of us says, let's get a referee in here, and I drop the mic. It's like this. It's like Kevin Owens is existing within the confines of a wrestling genre, but also commenting on its traits at the same time in a Deadpool that doesn't undermine everything kind of way.
Yeah,
both characters here were superb. Just as a thing before we get into the actual match, Austin Theory said he's glad that Roman won because him and Drew have unfinished business, and then he can cash in on the remnants of that unfinished business. So that's the second time after Drew's promo on Saturday we've had someone say, oh yeah, Roman and McIntyre are just going to have another match.
Yeah, which I don't want them to do at this point. If you're going to have a second match, just have him win the first one.
Yeah.
Because that was the
loses.
time. God!
I think really losing is more
that's going to be bad, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, so this match, though, pretty good, and it got great by the end.
Yeah.
Particularly off this... we both had the same thing, because I watched it this morning. You watched it a couple of hours ago, and you just went, oh my God.
Yeah, literally just sitting there and, oh my God, as I watched that.
And I was like, is it the KO spot? And you were like, yeah.
Yeah, because Austin Theory, on the outside, just grabs KO's head and just chucks it against the ring steps. Now I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a normal spot. No. This is against the corners of the actual steps on it. Like the back of his head on the corner of a step. Ow! Ow! Stop it! Stop it, KO.
Not just that, but the back as well.
Yeah.
You know, usually the steel steps make a fun sound, and you charge into them, and you make your shoulder really big, and you take it on the fleshy parts.
And if you're John Cena, you then push the steps out so they go for a mile.
Ooh.
One of those.
This one, no give.
God, it just hits and you just go, ugh.
I've never seen that before, and I appreciate it. KO is not one of these. I don't mean this in a negging way, because I really like Seth Rollins' Monday Night Rollins era, but it was the same match. You know, superplex, Falcon Arrow, and then there'll be little variations on that, and that's how you have long-term like stories. You just same stuff, but you tweak bits. I feel like KO is just introducing whole new spots every week. So. And the booking of him has been superb. He really feels like one of the more genuinely over badass baby faces in a long, long time.
Yeah, it's not very often that WWE gets a badass babyface right, and they've really nailed it here. I think he is looking superb, and especially because he won pretty dominantly as well at the end of this, because he hit the big kind of like twisting suplex off the middle rope, which is a spot I will always pop for because it just looks cool. I don't make the rules. And then he hits a pop-up powerbomb and then a stunner and wins. It's great. He just looks like super intense all the time. Just beat the hell out of Austin Theory and won. It's like, that's cool. I do wish Austin Theory would win sometimes, but not against KO.
I used to feel that way, but I've been won over by this, and I'll tell you why. Because I've got optimism, and it's the way they were doing Theory before he got the briefcase. He was winning these matches, and you know, it's a collective groan from fans like us. We're like, okay, he's the hand-picked guy. He's gonna beat all our favorites, despite not being ready yet, let's be honest, like not in terms of in-ring ability, promo ability. He's got promise, but he's not there yet, and it's going to create somewhat of a backlash and that sort of go away heat. But what they've transitioned to doing when he got the briefcase and Triple H came in charge is he's getting losses, because who did he lose to Well, he got made to look a fool at the pay-per-view.
Sure did.
And KO won here. And hopefully Gargano beats him as well. I do not mind these veterans who Theory hates they beat him.
They humble him.
They humble him. And then in not 6 months, but 4 or 5 months' time, so start of next year, that's when he starts to win because he has more of a character transition into a credible heel. Because I want him to hold that Money in the Bank contract until the last possible moment.
That is the one story they have not done with Money in the Bank yet, is someone running out of time to cash in. Because they always say you have a full calendar year to cash in, but no one has ever gone a full year yet. I'd love to see Austin Theory's desperation as time ticks closer and closer towards Money in the Bank next year, and he's like, I've still not cashed in, what do I do? I'd really like that. And I don't hate him losing, but I feel like he should be winning against some people. Like you said, against like the Kevin Owenses and the Johnny Gargano and stuff, he can lose. When he's facing Madcap Moss, maybe win, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have to protect Madcap Moss.
Oh, can you imagine if Theory gets over as a babyface like this? If he tries to cash in at every available opportunity and he keeps failing, and they do that for the next 7 months.
Genuinely, if they can come up with creative ways to stop him every time and don't repeat like the same thing, that could genuinely get really over. To be like, how's he going to fail it this time? You know, that's really fun.
And then when he eventually wins, it could be massive.
This could be a huge babyface moment. Like that could be really cool.
Miz and Ciampa had a promo on the US title cage match coming up later. Long recap promo of Clash at the Castle, about 5 minutes, and then straight into an Armed Forces, sort of charity package. So you had about like 10-15 minutes of video package ad break. I think that's a good idea. I pitched this quite a few years ago where Raw is a slog. It's 3 hours long. That is, and it's not like a 3-hour indie show where you've got loads of matches and stuff all the time. It's stilted. It's a TV broadcast. It's not like a house show. Things go dark. It saps the energy. So giving your audience a kind of 15-minute, intermission without telling the folks at home, you just play video packages. I feel like it sustained the crowd interest a bit more.
It's a fair point. Yeah, would sustain the live crowd. I think a better way to sustain the live crowd is to do a 2-hour show. But, that's me.
Yeah, that would be a better solution.
better option.
Damage Control came out. They've got that's definitely their name now.
Yes.
But
says it on the Tron.
But it's not Control, because I assume Marvel and Disney own the rights to that. It is CTRL, like on a computer.
Damage Control.
But Kai and Sky said Kai says she wasn't a legal person in the tag match, so they're going to go for the tag titles. And Bayley brought up pinning Belair, and Belair came out and sort of said, hey, well, let's have the match right now. I want revenge.
You want a challenge? Let's do the challenge right now.
And I really liked Bayley's mind games here, because she was like, no, I run things round here. I don't need the title. I'll get the title when I want to, because I know the fact that I pinned you in this ring is eating away at your mind.
And she's got a point. Like Bianca Belair, she said in her promo, Belair hasn't been pinned in over 300 days. And Bayley's like, but I did it. I've got nothing to prove anymore. I know I can beat you, so I'll beat you when I want to beat you for the title. And it's like, that's a really nice changing dynamic. It's nice to have the heel, because you can make the argument that she's just running away because she doesn't want to face Belair right now. Whatever. You can say she came up with this because she's like, oh, I'm not working, it's Labor Day. You can come up with the argument that she's just being a heel and just running away. But there's also a very good argument to be made that she's just playing Belair, and she's just biding her time for when she wants to take the most advantage of her. I'm all for it.
Bayley did say, I can take it whenever I want for 2 reasons. And then she motioned to Kai, and Kai stepped forward, and she motioned to Sky, and Sky stepped forward. And I thought, that's a great line. That's a great piece of staging that would be so much better if they had the tag titles.
Ain't gonna let this one die, are you?
Oh my God, it's just like the most open goal of a decision. I'm waiting for this to make sense.
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like if Damage Control are going for the tag titles, they're going to win.
After that, we got Johnny Gargano. He's having an interview backstage, and Theory interrupted and had a really good line. I don't know why it popped me so much. Johnny Wrestling? Well, since you've come back, you should be called Johnny Talking. And Gargano's
That's a dumb line. I love it.
Yeah. And Gargano's like, well, actually, I'm wrestling next week.
Yeah.
So just like another immediate Theory, you stupid prick.
Yeah, I'm big fan of that. I also did think, though, they had a lot of recaps on this show that didn't lead into the next segment, which for me was really tonally strange. Like, they had a big recap of Drew McIntyre's entrance and the huge pop that he got, and you hear all the crowd being like, oh, Drew McIntyre. And they play that for like 30 seconds of just that chant, and Drew soaking in the crowd atmosphere, and it says, ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time, I'm like, oh, it's going to be an interview with Drew. Johnny Gargano. I was like, wait, what? It's like, just didn't flow with the show.
I don't mind.
Fine.
I don't mind post pay-per-view. I prefer this because what WWE are very good at, and I wish AEW took this lesson, is they're very good at mythologizing moments in recent history. Whereas AEW, they just push forward and have a million things in every show.
Yeah.
But just playing this stuff over and over again really helps cement it in people's minds.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I would have preferred it on SmackDown. I think it just works.
Do it. Just do it right away. Interestingly, next week Gargano's match. We don't know who it's against. Probably be an enhancement style match. It's his return. It's not his debut.
No,
I like that because they've already referenced the NXT history between Johnny and Theory. And if you're including that, this is a return to the company, not a Raw debut.
Yeah, and it's also technically not a Raw debut because it got brought up with Ciampa as well. But when they want to, they can call Karrion Kross's one an in-ring debut, and you go, yeah, all right, I'll give you that one. Yeah, that's fine.
You're right.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio then took on Damian Priest. Decent match, but Dominic got up on the apron and stopped his dad hitting the 619, and that led to Priest getting the win.
Really like the choke slam that Priest did at the end there, because it was like almost from lying down. He just picked Rey up and then just put him down again. It was really cool. I also really liked in the bit where they said, up next is going to be Rey Mysterio, and he was walking backstage. They said, Rey's a grieving father. I'm like, Dominic didn't die. It's not...
To him, I like Ripley said afterwards, what Pappy wants, Pappy gets.
Big fan of that.
Bobby interview, Braun interview where he said he'll be at SmackDown. Then we got a clip of Riddle after Clash at the Castle saying he wants a rematch immediately. And then another interview with Seth that said, nope.
I'm good, thanks. Which is good. I don't want them to have another match.
Oh, I do.
Seth
with a
won.
stip.
Seth won. Why is Riddle getting a rematch?
Because his emotions got the better of him.
What does that... You lost.
Well,
what does that mean?
He wanted to use the chair on Seth. He's like, fight me where it's, no holds barred. Falls count anywhere.
Sure. You lost. Stop complaining.
The main event was Bobby Lashley versus The Miz in a steel cage for the United States title. The reason this match was put on was because last week Miz took on Lashley, but Dexter Lumis appeared in the crowd that distracted Miz because he kind of almost had it won, and Bobby ended up retaining. I don't know why a steel cage would stop him from seeing someone in the crowd. When he won a blindfold match?
It doesn't. A blindfold match or a... I'm trying to give other steps that would work here. Not much. Cause
lumberjack match.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, but you'd still see him.
You'd still see. None, really. You need a Dexter Lumis' band match, which he already is. But whatever.
So I guess it's more Miz wanting these walls to protect him.
Sure.
The actual story of the match went a pretty decent amount of time, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Where it was good. It was enjoyable.
Good. Yeah.
Miz and Ciampa, who's Tommaso Ciampa now.
Got his Tommaso back.
Tommy's back. They attacked Bobby before the bell, and they beat him up loads, worked over his arm, and then the story was more credible that Miz might win. Although I don't think Bobby did a good job of selling the arm.
Not especially, no. I quite like the way the beatdown started, in that it was when the ref was holding up the title to show the crowd the thing they do. Miz just grabbed it and smashed it over the back of Lashley's head. I was like, That's a good spot. I like that. And the beatdown I thought was really good. They did a great job of believing that they beat down Lashley and made him injured. But like I said, I just don't think the follow-up was quite there.
Yeah, you sort of wanted Bobby, like, really not being able to use that arm. But he used his arm all the time and then went, ow.
Yeah.
Like the Seth Rollins kind of selling. But I want Lashley's offense and strategy to actually have to change because of this injury.
Yeah. I think it would be really cool if he goes for, like, I don't know, like a spine bust or a powerbomb or something, and then he has to drop Miz. He's like, like that, and then he just gets him up with one arm instead and use that. Like, that's really cool. That would be a great way to overcome that stuff.
The idea was that Miz could always try and run up and over the cage, and Bobby had to only use one arm to pull him down. I just don't feel like visually they told that enough.
No.
But it was all Miz kept going for the door, and he'd be flailing out the door, and his hand would keep pulling the apron, and I thought Loomis is coming out from under that apron. But no, instead,
well, yes,
it was a
but on
apron.
another bit of the ring, yeah.
Bobby's trying to get out, but Ciampa like smashes his head in the steel door. So Miz is like, right, I'm going up over this way. Goes up and over. He's about to climb down. The camera, this excellent pro wrestling style
so
shot.
Good.
You laughed out loud.
I did.
I thought Pete was laughing at a joke I'd made in the office, but you were laughing at this instead. Loomis is just laying there, deadpan, staring right up at the Miz.
Like, only like this part of him upwards is poking out from under the apron, and it's just wide-eyed, completely deadpan. And it's great, like a drone shot or something was up above, where they just zoomed down, where you just saw like Miz looking down, and then it went past Miz, so you could just see Loomis. Like, it was a brilliant bit of camera work.
Yeah.
So well shot. I'm big fan of this.
Miz got back in the cage to escape Loomis, but Bobby had already got out the cage by that point, shut Miz in. Loomis got in.
He hit him with a spear and pinned him. And then he got out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
he pinned him. He hit him with a spear and pinned him.
Loomis chokes out Miz, and then the show goes off air with Loomis stroking Miz's hair and his head in his lap.
Yeah, which I will always think is a great visual. Like that thing, choking someone out and then just being there and just stroking the head while you look, not even looking at them, just staring off in the distance. Again, I don't make the rules. I just think that's cool.
Yeah, so kind of like Braun, cool, superficially cool and funny as well. Like you can see Triple H's weird sense of humor all over this, and I like Triple H's sense of humor mostly.
Broadly speaking.
It's that sort of wacky, tongue-in-cheek style.
Sports entertainment, really.
Yeah.
Kind of is.
But I don't think this is any good.
I don't hate the Loomis stuff. I think the Loomis stuff in NXT was worse than this.
Yeah.
When people absolutely loved it, I was like, this is fine. It's fine. It's not super special. I think the way it's shot is better than the segments itself. I think the way that they've shot all the Loomis stuff has been very, very good. But I don't know what the end result is. Why is Loomis obsessed with Miz? Do we know that?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
And we don't know, it was quite a smart misdirect that we thought he was interested in AJ. But it was actually against the Miz.
Yeah.
But Miz has already been kidnapped by Loomis.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you go from there. And this spot here feels like it should come before the kidnapping.
Yes.
I feel like we're going backwards, or we're repeating a spot that we've already had.
Yeah, it does feel like we've gone A to C to B rather than A, B, C. And like, I like the fact that the US title match was the main event. I think it should have been. Steel Cage United States title match should probably be the main event of Raw. I like that. I just don't know if it lived up to the main event status. Like, it was a good match, but it wasn't fantastic.
Well, it's because the US title for about 2-3 weeks now has played second fiddle to the Loomis Miz storyline.
Yeah.
And that's a real shame because the US title needs to be the main title on Raw at the moment. Otherwise, it's 3 hours of nothing. And the first 2 weeks of Triple H's tenure was all about building up that US championship, having the video packages, having the tournament, having the, well, not a tournament, but, deciding the number one contender, announcing the championship match a week in advance. And I was like, this is perfect. But it was only a fortnight-long thing.
Yeah.
It only got
less than a
3-week push. Because since then, everyone who lost in that chance has sort of had another shot. Bobby's star power has declined, I think, quite dramatically because he was mad over at SummerSlam. Didn't even have a match at Clash of the Castle. And
I mean, a lot of people didn't, in fairness. There's only 6 matches.
But, this is meant to be the main title on Raw.
Yeah.
And the reason
title anyway,
he didn't have a story.
Yeah.
Because the story is Miz Loomis.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's main event worthy.
Sorry, I just glanced at the screen. There's a massive gif of
Scared
you.
Me. I don't think it's main event spot worthy. I think this is mid-card comedy.
Yeah, I agree.
It's also wacky to an extent, and I should have seen it coming. I thought they were going to go somewhere a bit more serious with this based off the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
And this is, yeah. But I'm glad people are having fun with it. I'm having fun with it too. I don't think it's that great. It's more. It's so bad it's good.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. There you go. That's what I'll say. I thought this was a 3 out of 5 show.
I gave it 70%, which I think is actually 3 out of 5, 3.5. I should have given it 60.
60.
Yeah.
So bang on 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can get on board with that.
But before we get into our remaining Ultra Chats, we've got some shout outs to our wonderful Pledgehammers on Patreon. Hit the music.
The Hall of Fame music is on. If you haven't been to our Patreon page yet, you really should. We've had a little rebrand recently, so you get a new piece of content every Wednesday, which is tomorrow. You're going to get the WrestleTalk mailbag. Next week, we've got the Behind the Scenes podcast, where we just talk about the stories from the month. We've got a few of them because we had a little watch party to organise. So we've got all the production side of that and how that came together and the all live reactions and all the crazy stuff that we've done. Monday Night War, we've got stories about that and production tales. Loads of stuff on our Patreon page. Just go check that out at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Also, Monday Night War perks are coming as of Monday. So that's also a reason to go to the Patreon page. And if you pledge at the $25 or above tier, you get your own custom wrestling nickname, and it gets read on a show much like this one. So thank you to Chris, the Cypriot Sensation Petru.
He's no jackass, Dano.
Fantastic, Mr. Good Old Fox.
The Venerable, Jesse Venable.
The Cleaner, Kenny Shah.
The British Bulldog, Philip Boy J. Smith Jr.
WrestleTalk's personal ring announcer, Rodrigo Benitez.
Ronald Coleman, Bay.
He can last Sean for longer than you in the ring.
Starbucks, Stephen Costa.
Shield Maiden, the Zornice.
And Will, the MS Warrior, Stewart.
Thank you so much, all of our pledge hammers. Really do appreciate it. Shall we get into the last of the Ultra Chats for today?
Right. So, Mr. Gajilli says, "Hey guys, on Braun, I can't see why he can't be booked like Gunther. Sheamus, a big dude that fights stiff, and add his monster spots. And even for me, share moments with Alexa. Of course, it's a Mr. Gajilli chat. In the same way as they are best friends in and out of the ring. Team Little Big for life."
I didn't know that. Were they best friends out of the ring? I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
I thought it was a bit of an act.
And then one more outside of kayfabe. I'm glad Braun is back, because it seems Alexa is not having a good time on the road at the moment, so he can travel with her. And I think Dominic could change his surname to Guerrero, play into that real stuff.
I quite like that.
That would be fun.
If Ray is like, "You've got to cement my legacy," and he goes, "My name is now Dominic Guerrero," you go, "Oh, that's good."
I think Braun and Gunther are very, very different characters.
Big time.
Yeah, Braun is a comic book monster. Gunther is like a realistic, like strong style.
He's a big professional wrestler.
Bastard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Edgar Carrasco, Memberg for 10 months. The Braun segment felt like the old Vince scenarios where they would bury the tag division. Hello again, Ollie. Scissor me, Chopper, or Italian me. Charles Berg, now that Braun is back, we can hear him say that thing to Roman.
"I'm not finished with you!"
Yeah. The famous thing he says, "Roman, you and I may have many unresolved issues that frankly need to be addressed."
That's it. That's the line.
I honestly love it when he says that.
Yep.
Dominic has 2 dads, 1 mum, and 1 mummy.
Hey.
Riot DR, backstage. So people are going to be stuck on this CM Punk thing. Should we take it easy this week? Triple H. Now we'll just focus on making memes. Braun, Dom Mysterio and his makeover, especially Dexter Lumis being his creepy self. Nothing major, but fun.
Yeah, I agree. Bit of fun.
Jesse Venable. I feel as though Austin Theory, the character, needs some work. but the wrestling and selling he does is up there with the greats. Wow. His wrestling is a lot of rest holds,
I think his wrestling is good.
but not up there with the greats.
No. Selling is good.
I think
agree.
his promos are good.
His
but
selling's
yeah.
fantastic, I think.
I think there's definite promise, but he has a long, long, long way to go until he's with the greats. KO is great again since his WrestleMania match with Stone Cold. And hot damn, I'm so excited for Monday Night War next week. Much love, partsFUNknown and WrestleTalk. Jam that jam.
Much love, HH.
Mr. Kajili again. Last one tonight. I feel it's interesting that all the people that went to Wales weren't in matches tonight or not on the show at all, like Alexa and Asuka, giving them time to rest and let others be in the show.
There was a lot of people that wrestled in Cardiff that were on this show.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's part of it.
No.
Cotton Candy Lover. I would turn on Ray too if Ray put my head in a vice. Hashtag scissor me, Mama Ripley.
It's getting a bit weird. I like that this is a separate section on the Ultrachats doc, just called Thirst Chats.
Mr. Kajili, hi guys, nothing on tonight's show, but I wanted to talk about the AEW fight and all the issues with this shambles of a company. It's time for Tony Khan to become a boss, not a friend. Show he's in control. Either suspend or discipline CM Punk or an EVP. Thoughts?
Oh, we have lots of them. I don't think we can fit it into this little response into an Ultra Chat. I'm sure that the Friday podcast will probably be talking about all of this stuff. But yeah, I kind of agree. I think TK needs to take some action, because if you're going to suspend Eddie Kingston for throwing a punch, there should be more for this, you'd 100%. Think.
Meng. Hi, Oli. Pete. Hi, Oli and Pete. I just handed my master's dissertation last week. Just want to thank you guys for all the works and entertainments. Sadly, I also flew back to Thailand and missed the watch-along party. Anyway, congrats for the party. Looked really fun.
Sad we missed you, but thank you so much.
It was fun.
It was a great time. I had such a good time.
Temruza. Oli doing the SRS off mic, yelling bit. I love it. I've been doing that forever.
SRS did not invent yelling off mic.
I've been yelling off mic since this podcast studio's been a thing.
That's not a thing, gang.
This week, my attention has been unable to be on WWE because I'm so interested to see how Dynamite and the Road to Grand Slam will be after this weekend. Also, Being the Elite will be up today. Curious what is said on it. Well, I'd be surprised if they make any references. I think this is too serious a situation to make light of.
Yeah. I don't know if there is going to be a BTE this week, depending. I don't know.
Benjamin Gabriel has been a member for 6 months. So on one of the reactive news segments, Pete confirmed that the seat is the top seat on the podcast. Does this mean that Pete outranks Oli?
We've been talking about this for a while, the hierarchy of seating in the podcast duos, in that you will always be in that seat, but this is the seat of power.
Yeah.
That means you are the sub out of everyone in the WrestleTalk office. You're the permanent sub.
And the talent. I'm not going to operate this Stream Deck control panel like a button monkey.
I have the power on the stream. This is the seat of power.
I heard Brandon had the power on Sunday.
Oh, don't tell him that. He was so apologetic.
Wow, Brett Guy has...
Yeah, that was why the GIF came up.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Brett Guy. You've pledged $100. That's so generous.
Crikey Moses.
Wasn't sure if my first chat worked, so here is another one just in case. I just wanted to say thank you to the whole WrestleTalk crew for creating amazing videos. Those videos helped me relax and helped me win $100,000 on CBS this past weekend. So cheers, boys. What?
Well done, I guess.
Congratulations. That's phenomenal news.
Shawn Michaels' favourite fan,
yeah.
Brett Guy.
Wow. Well done.
Wow.
And finally, for now, Gabriel Reyes, member for 14 months, using this to say congrats on Momo Pete. He is obviously absolutely adorable.
Momo is the greatest cat that ever lived. And he's mine, and he's precious. And I love him. If you want to see him, he's on the WrestleTalk News today.
You've only had him like under 2 days.
Genuinely, we got him a couple days ago, and I would die for him.
I don't think you can make statements this bold
absolutely
so
can.
soon.
I absolutely can.
I'm really happy for you, but I think it's irresponsible to love something so much so early on.
Oli, just be happy for me, please.
I'm trying to be happy for you, but I think as a friend and a mentor, that you should, chill the count.
I love my cat, okay? That's all it is.
Why can't you be more like Laurie, who obviously hates his own cat?
No. Laurie presents like he hates his cat, but he loves his cat.
He does. Well, thank you everybody for joining us here today. Please hit the subscribe button because our next show is on Thursday, and it is a review of Dynamite. Oh my God, what's going to happen?
And it's back to you and Luke now, after the Quizlemania stip has expired after All Out, so you and Luke will be reviewing Dynamite again.
Yeah, and also please go check out our sponsors for today's Surfshark. Link is in the top of the video description below. But for now, I've been Oli Davis. This has been Chopper P. Quinnell. Jam that jam.